Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and it looks like we are live. Very good. Hey, everyone, if you're with us. All right, I'm going to go to the Zoom window. There we go. So for some reason, I'm looking at it, what it looks like live on YouTube, and it's not showing Bree. It's showing the two of us. So I don't know what's going on with that. It's not showing that Bree's with us, which is kind of weird. Maybe that'll change.
I think it's because she turned off her video.
Oh, you think it's because the video's not on?
Yeah, I think it only shows the video when your video's on.
Gotcha. All righty. Well, I will go ahead and kick us off. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Live at 5. I'm excited for you guys to start filtering in as we get started tonight. So I do have two announcements. One is that what you guys all been waiting for those of you who attended, you got your name in a drawing for the TV. And so here, when we've got a few more people with us, I am going to shake this up and draw a random name, and someone's going to find out if they're getting a brand new smart TV. So that is pretty awesome. But before we do that, I wanted to tell everyone that we are starting a new event next week. This is not going to be an event that's around for a long time. It's just for next week. And we're calling it the Feedback Blitz. And let me tell you guys a little bit about that. So we really want your feedback. Us at Immerse, the whole reason that we do what we do is for you guys. And you know that we call you guys the youth. So we are asking all of the youth to give feedback on what your time at Immerse has been like. You can talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. You can talk about how you've maybe overcome some things. You can, help us know how to serve you guys better. But we're also trying to make it really fun. So as we're asking for your feedback, we're also going to have some games and activities. We're also going to be giving away some prizes. And all of this starts next week, and it's going to be on our YouTube Live, and it's going to be every single day at 10 a.m. and at 1 p.m. and at 3 p.m. Those are going to be the 3 sessions that we have every single day. And I think they'll be about 15 minutes long. They're going to be a little bit shorter than the classes that we usually do here on our YouTube channel. But you can tune in every day next week at 10 and at 1 and at 3. And just in case you guys maybe want to see that in writing, and maybe need, a reminder of when we're going live, all of that is on our Facebook page. I did a big long post today all about the Feedback Blitz. And so you guys can go on the Facebook page and you will find everything that you need to know. But it's going to be really fun. We're giving away prizes. We're going to ask you guys to help us create the first ever Immerse Spotify playlist. So if you like music and you want to add songs, that's going to be a really fun thing. We're going to do shout outs and talk about, I'm trying to think of what else. Anyways, sorry, I'm drawing a blank, but it's all on Facebook if you guys want to go look at it. So yeah. Okay, let me look at the chat. We got some people with us, which is awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and do it. I'm going to draw our name. Just so I'm going to let you guys watch so that you know that I'm not cheating. But yeah, for every time you attended a class the past month, your name is in here. So I'm going to shake it up. I'm going to stick my hand in and draw one. All right, and it is Robin Bird. Yay, Robin! Robin won the TV. I don't know if she's here with us. I'm not seeing her on here, but we'll reach out to you, Robin, and we will get with you about how you can get your brand new smart TV. So Pretty awesome. All righty. Well, that is all I've got for us, Lindsay and Josh. I will pass it over to you guys.
Awesome. Thank you. If you will let us share our screen, we actually have a presentation for tonight.
Oh, yeah. So sorry.
And while we're getting that pulled up, we actually have a topic tonight on professionalism. So as always, if you have any questions for us about the topic of professionalism or any comments along the way, definitely drop those down in the chat box and we'll address those at the end. So yeah, any questions you have on what it means to be a professional in different types of work environments, we want to talk about those. Okay, so we will pull up our screen. And again, this is just building on everything we've talked about so far, job applications, resumes, and interviews. So this is more about when you're out working in your job. So we titled this Professionalism is for Winners. And a lot of what we're going to talk about tonight is actually about branding, and we're going to have a different session on personal branding. So we're not going to get too deep into what branding means, but really professionalism is for winners is for those of you who are feeling ambitious. Maybe you're really driven and you're looking to get a supervisor or manager role eventually, then this is going to be really important for you. How you carry yourself, how you represent the company's brand is going to be imperative. It's going to be really critical to your career advancement. So the first thing we're going to talk about is looking the part and the importance of how you represent yourself physically and visually. We'll also get into first impressions. I know you've heard it before, but first impressions are a big deal. And then how you make people feel. When I think about professionalism now, it's less about what you look like. You don't need a three-piece suit. It's more about how you make others feel. So we'll dig into that a little bit too. So yeah, professionalism is not about donning a suit and lugging a suitcase. My mechanic, I want him to be a professional. I want him to work on my car and know what he's doing. But he doesn't need to wear a three-piece suit, right? That would look ridiculous. So it's not necessarily about that suit or the briefcase as it is about how you represent the company's mission, their values, and how you make other people feel. So yeah, we're talking about really skills and traits, less about what you look like and how you act. And this is good because these are skills and traits that you can learn and you can improve upon over time. So how well you communicate, how good are you at time management? Are you reliable? Can people count on you? Do you own up to your mistakes? Do you make sound, ethical decisions? Do you respect the workplace? All of those things attribute to professionalism. It's really about showing respect for where you work and the job that you're doing. So yeah, your personal appearance matters. But guys, it really depends on where you work. I brought up the mechanic, and we have on here too, like being, good hygiene, pressed uniforms. But when I go pick up my car from the mechanic, it's probably going to be, he's going to have like a stained and wrinkled uniform. So I can't hold expectations for him the same that I would for my financial advisor. I would expect a bank teller and a lawyer to maybe be pressed and stain free, but there's other jobs where I would expect them to not. So it really boils down to what is your job and how do you personify or demonstrate that job. Good hygiene though is always key. So make sure that you're still staying fresh. Everyone likes a fresh look. The other thing to keep in mind is, I'm sure you've all heard when in Rome. So when in Rome means when you're in Rome, act like the Romans do. Birds of a feather flock together. All of those things are basically like, if your company has this sort of brand or people look this way, then it makes sense to try and blend in. And we talked about how important it was during the interview and job application phase to really look at what that company's mission and value is and to make sure it's a good fit for you. Because ultimately you have to be authentic to yourself. And so you want to naturally fit into the company that you're working for. So the more your personal brand aligns with your professional brand, that's easier on you, including your personal styling choices. And you want to make sure those align with the work environment. And this especially matters if you're working for a conservative place. So if you are a bank teller, or maybe you're working for a hospital, you want to keep it conservative. The first thing is we're going to talk about hair. So the thing about hair is that we continue to evolve as a society and what we're going to accept in the professional environment. And that's a great thing. We are more appreciative of personal branding and diversity than we've ever been. We still have a lot of ways to go, but we're continuing to move in that direction. So, 30 years ago, women would be expected to wear pantyhose, which sounds very antiquated now. Like that's like way old school. It's something your grandma might do. So we continue to evolve as a society. Hair, nails, lashes, those are the same thing. The thing about hair, especially ladies, is that you want to make sure that your hair isn't getting in the way of your work. And so one example of that is if you were working a housekeeping job, for example, or you're working in a hospital, if your hair is dragging on the ground or getting in the way of your work or your ability to see and look at customers or look at patients, whoever you're interacting with, then that's affecting your job. And that becomes unprofessional. Your hair itself, not professional, but when it gets in the way of your job, that's when it becomes unprofessional. So just being mindful of what are you going to be doing that day or every day, and then how can your personal appearance reflect that. The same thing goes with nails and lashes, really understanding what your work environment will tolerate. So eyelash extensions, all the rage right now, they're very on trend. Nails, very long, a lot of them are very decorative, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But just being aware of, is this going to affect your job? And then also being mindful of if you are looking for a raise, or if you want to be into a supervisor position, people tend to have a perception of what they want that person to look like. And so, you really can't be wrong with short, neutral nails. A natural look is always best in any environment. But if you want to have crazy nails, like beautiful long nails, beautiful long lashes, that's okay. Just be mindful that might affect your promotions, that might affect other people's perception of you, especially if you're working for a conservative company. And just be mindful that if it's affecting your ability to work, then it might be a problem. Okay, so obviously body art and clothing. I know plenty of professionals who have piercings and tattoos. Many companies will ask you to cover those up just because people unfortunately tend to judge a book by its cover. So don't be surprised if there is a policy in place for you to cover up your body art or tattoos, and just understand that's more about customers' perception. If I were to go to my doctor and my doctor was all covered in tattoos and piercings, I might be hesitant about my ability to trust that person. Or if they were joking around a lot, I might be hesitant about how serious they take their job. So all of these things sort of matter whenever we're first engaging with someone for the first time, and especially in their appearance. So how you personally portray yourself in your personal life might be a little bit different than how you portray yourself in your professional life. The other thing is that when you have something very distinctive about you, so maybe you have a very distinctive hair color, hairstyle, body tattoo, piercing, any of those things, even your clothing, people tend to pay attention to that, which is okay. You're expressing your individuality. The thing is that might take away from their attention to your skills and your qualities. So if you want them to pay attention to how detail oriented you are, or how well you're handling a project or your people skills. That's more challenging to do if they're distracted by your appearance. So that's another benefit of just having a more neutral look. Okay, so all of that is to say that being professional doesn't mean that you have to be boring. Obviously, maintain who your identity is. Be authentic to yourself. Just make sure that you're projecting a positive self-image. A positive self-image is a professional self-image. And make sure that everything that you're conveying goes back to your abilities and your sound judgment. I go back to my doctor, right? My doctor was covered in tattoos and piercings and having like this joking sort of personality. I might be hesitant to put my trust and faith of my health with that doctor. So just being mindful of how you're projecting yourself to other people in your current job. Unfortunately / fortunately, your personal brand does affect your career advancement opportunities. And I mentioned this before, but managers, leadership, they tend to have a vision of what they want a manager or supervisor to be. And that includes your personal appearance, your qualities, your traits, your skills. They have in their mind what they want that person to look like or embody. And so if you have an understanding of what that vision is, then you can start to align yourself, and that makes the decision easier. So if you're someone that wants to advance in your career, understand, okay, so what are you looking for in a manager? What are you looking for in a leader? And that way you can exemplify those traits. Also, first impressions make a big difference. So when you're working and you meet a customer or a coworker, making a first impression is a lasting impression. You only get one shot. So 7 out of 10 people will form an opinion about you before you even open your mouth. Before you smile, say hello, anything, they will already judge you. That's why it's so important, especially in the workplace, to always carry yourself in a way that they can look at you and what you're wearing or how you're presenting yourself, and you're okay with whatever judgment they make. Always portray yourself like how you want to be represented. Unfortunately, negative impressions are much more lasting than positive ones. So there's an example here about, you have a friend, they call you every birthday, they send you a card every birthday, but the 1 year they forget, that's going to stick out in your mind more than anything else. The same thing applies at work. The one time you make a mistake, the one time that you're late for work, the one time you miss a meeting, you handle a situation, you got your emotions get the best of you, people remember that so much more than all the hard work, all the positive experiences. That's just how we're wired. And it's really difficult to change someone's opinion, especially if they have a negative first opinion of you. Typically, people will start to justify everything they see from you. So if Josh, the first time I meet him, he shows up late, that guy's lazy. He's lazy, he doesn't work very hard. And he could be a very hard worker, but everything he does, I'm gonna just see, I told you he wasn't a hard worker. See, he stepped right over that piece of trash. He didn't hold that door open for her. He's lazy. Everything I see and observe, I'm going to try to justify my first opinion. And we all do that. We all do that. And it's important to remember that people start to formulate opinions of you before you even talk. And then they start to build that evidence to justify their opinion. That's why it's so important to always enter a customer experience or a coworker experience in the most positive way possible. Okay, so I've got a couple of scientific words here, but really it comes down to we're wired this way for survival. Okay, so social categorization is really about you making rapid judgments about people. And we hear a lot of things about stereotypes. But think about it. Every person you meet, you can't take the time to really get to know them before you can form an opinion about them. So everything we learned about people and our experiences, all of our history, we start to make rapid judgments about people we see. That's why we can start to form stereotypes or make judgments about people before they even talk, because we can very quickly do that. We also make connections that may or may not be true. So if Josh is really happy when he gets home from work, or if I see him for the first time, oh, he's a kind guy. He's giving, he's generous. Or if the first time I meet him, he's in a really bad mood, maybe something really bad happened to him that day, and he was just like in just a foul sort of mood. Oh, he's rude. Oh, he's not friendly. I don't like that guy. He rubs me the wrong way. All of those things sort of add up to how people think about you. And that's just how we survive as a human. And it's really difficult when someone has an opinion about you to change it. And I talked about that birthday card, like all of those negative experiences sort of stand out. And it's really difficult to change someone's opinion because we're always justifying what we think about someone. So in the workplace, people remember how you make them feel. That's why I don't want to emphasize how you look so much as like how you make other people feel. Professional, kind, approachable demeanor. Your body language matters. This is your eye contact, your facial expressions, your posture, your gestures. These are the things that people see that you are maybe not aware of. You can't see them for yourself, right? There's no mirror in front of you, but everyone else around you, they're picking up on all these little details, and they're adding up this judgment of how they feel about you and also how you make them feel. So if you meet someone and you're kind to them and you're happy and they feel good about themselves and they walk away from that experience feeling positive, they're going to associate those positive feelings with you. And that's what you want in the workplace. When you're having a phone conversation with someone, you don't get those body cues, right? So one tip is to smile when you're speaking, because that makes you sound happy and friendly. So even if you pick up the phone and you greet someone, hey, especially if you're a receptionist, it's always good to smile. If you are answering the phone at the workplace, try to do it within 3 rings to show that sense of urgency that that person on the other end is important to you. And then when you speak, your tone, positive tone, your volume, you don't want to mumble, you don't want to talk really quiet. And your articulation, you want them to understand you, right? Like that's important. All of those things add up to your professionalism. And then anytime a customer or coworker comes to you with a request, the first thing you can do is give it a sense of urgency. Like if someone were to call and say, hey, I need this, if I treat that with like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do that right now, with this sense of urgency, that shows that other person that what they're asking is important to me, that they are important to me. And that means that I value that other person. But don't, if someone is calling and they have a request, make sure that you understand what they're asking for. If you don't have the questions for them right away, take a note and just say, hey, I'm going to get back to you, and then give them a timeline on when you're going to get back to them. Or even if they come to you face to face, hey, I need this, give them a timeline when you're going to get back to them. And just say, you are important to me, what you're asking for is important to me, and I'm going to get back to you even if I can't answer or help you right now. I've heard these referred to as the Walmart rules. I don't know if that's true. But there's like a 10-foot rule and a 5-foot rule. I like them. The 10-foot rule is with someone is within 10 feet of you, make eye contact. Okay, so if they're 10 feet away, you're gonna look at them in the eye, you're just gonna smile. And again, that gives them a good feeling about, oh, she's a friendly person, she's kind, I like her, she's making me feel good, I'm smiling now. With your 5 foot away, you're smiling, you're gonna look them in the eye still, but now you greet them. Hey, how's it going? How's your day? Hi. It doesn't have to be elaborate. You don't have to stop and have a conversation, but just acknowledge them and greet them. If they look like they need help, stop and say, hey, are you looking for something? Can I help you? Especially if it's a customer, always be available to offer help. And then if they are lost or if they're looking for something, it's always a great idea to walk them to that person or to whatever they're looking for. If they're lost and looking for a place, personally taking the time to walk them to where they're going is a really nice personal touch. And that's going, again, to make them feel good about you and that experience. Okay, so this is sort of the last thing we're going to talk about is gossip. You guys, gossip is not professional. It always makes you look bad. So even if it feels good in the moment, and usually a group of people, there's always that one person that people are talking about. And that might feel good in the moment. It might feel like you're connecting with your coworkers and you're building up that sort of camaraderie. The thing about gossip is if you know someone is gossiping about someone else, 100% they are also gossiping about you. So that's the image that you're portraying, is if you partake in gossip, especially if you get into a supervisor or manager position, you are breaking trust. You cannot be trusted because what you're conveying is, oh, you talk bad about them behind their back, well, you're going to talk bad about me. And you want to be the kind of person, again, sound ethical judgment, you're trustworthy, you're reliable, you're accountable. Gossip does not support those traits. And I know it's really easy to do, especially when everyone around you is doing it, but you can always say, yeah, I don't know about that. I don't have anything to say, or I don't know what was going on, or maybe they were having a bad day. If someone obviously was demonstrating some poor decisions or poor behavior, yeah, I don't know what was going on with that. They must be having a bad day. There's a really easy ways to kind of get yourself out of that without actually contributing to the gossip. So again, when people walk away from you, do you really want them to not trust you? And do you want that experience to be a negative one? I think that's the most important thing here is out of everything we've talked about, how are you representing the company's brand? How are you representing your personal brand? What do you want people to say about you when you leave the room? That's your brand. Your brand is when you leave the room, it's what other people have to say about you, the adjectives that people use to describe you. So everything and every interaction, try to make it as positive, friendly, welcoming, and warm as possible. And that's truly what modern professionalism is. All right, so that's it. Quick and easy tonight. Do you guys have any questions for us?
Awesome. Thanks, Lindsay. That was great. Definitely some good reminders for me in there. That you are the company whenever you're out and about and interacting with people. You're putting a face on it, and that's super, super important. Yeah. I'm thinking I've got quite a few youth that I think really do understand, the concept of what professionalism is and exhibit it well. I can think of quite a few that are really strong in this area, and that's encouraging to me. But we all have room to grow when it comes to professionalism. I know that we all do, for sure. Let me look back through the chat and see if we've got any questions. I did post, in the chat, I asked if anyone had questions a while ago. I'm not seeing anything. So I don't see anything right now. But yeah, do you guys have anything else to add? Any final thoughts? All right, very good, very good. We'll give them just a few more minutes, see if we got any questions. And if you guys are tuned in with us, make sure that you leave a comment in the chat, say that you're here, so I can take attendance. And then also that gets your name in the drawing for next month's drawing. For those of you that missed it, Robin Bird is the winner of the TV. So congrats to Robin. And then one more time, if you missed it there at the beginning, we have an event going on next week on our YouTube channel. What's it called? I'm blanking. Feedback Blitz. Yes, that's what it's called. On the Facebook page, I gave all sorts of updates about that. So if you guys are watching, you'll want to be involved in something really fun that we're doing online next week, and also have the chance to win a prize and to get to interact with some of our other youth and also give immersed feedback about how we're doing with serving you. Definitely something that you don't want to miss. And of course, you guys, if you have questions about that, you're always free to call or text me or anyone else in Immerse and get more information about that. So that is pretty much all I've got. I don't see any more questions. So yeah, we can go ahead and close out, unless you guys have any final thoughts, any final things to add.
I would just say that next time we're going to be talking about professional communication. So how to write an email, good phone etiquette tips, interpersonal tips. So just next time, if you're interested in learning about some of those communication, professional communication fundamentals, that's what we'll cover next week.
Yes, perfect. You should all tune into that because it is very, very important. And as a professional, I'm excited to learn, and I also interact with people all the time, and I'm like, oh man, this communication is weird, or something's not going on right. So this is going to be beneficial to me for sure. Communication issues happen in the workplace all the time, so it's going to be an important topic for all of us. But to those of you who tuned in, thank you so much, and we will catch you guys next week.
Okay.
All right, bye everyone.
Bye.